Alright, players, we back. And we have the Hero Rises 2025 voting, which has officially begun. As we can see at the top, they're scrolling through a bunch of very worthy heroes that people may want to vote for. Now, what's very unique and interesting about this particular Hero Rises event is this. So, breaking news was broken on the Fate channel yesterday. The top 8 heroes will be featured in a summoning event, meaning that they're going to all bypass the actual voting gauntlet. And, I mean, sure, the voting gauntlet still matters for us to decide who actually wins the event and who's going to be given out for free to everybody. But, as far as the banner is concerned, which I think is more important than the actual character that everyone gets for free, the banner is going to be just whoever makes the top 8 cut. They're all going to end up on the banner, and here we have the rates and like all that stuff for the banner. So we are already aware of all that. So we're going to be able to spark up to 40 times. As we can see here, there's a 6% rate for a focus hero and then a 0% rate for any other 5-star. So basically on this Hero Rises event, you cannot be pity broken. And it's essentially almost like a not double special. Actually, yeah, I guess it is like a double special banner, right? Because those have no pity breaks, also 6% rates, and there are 8 units on the banner. So you could liken this Hero Rises event to just a double special banner where we get to choose which units are going to be on it. So obviously that's going to be very good. Now the major difference though is that it's not going to be like completely color balanced. Like on double special banners, there's 2 units per color, which is always the case, but that may not be the case over here. Like we may end up having like 3 units on one color, 4 units on one color, and then 1 unit who's just completely all by themselves on another color. So anything could happen as far as the color shares are concerned with this. So it's very interesting. Like what happens if all 8 of the top 8 are on the same exact color? And then it's just like the rates would be higher than ever before if that happened for pulling a 5-star. But I don't really think 8-way color sharing is exactly what we want to try to do. So I would actually steer away from getting all the same characters on the same color, because that seems a little bit more detrimental than impactful at that point. Even though, yeah, the actual 5-star rate would be astronomically high, you're still going to have like a harder chance of getting a specific unit if that's what you're going for. So, this is the one year where I think a Hero Rises really doesn't matter too much as far as who actually makes it onto the top 8, as long as they're all, like, very valuable heroes. So, why don't we go ahead and take a look at my picks for which units I think deserve to get voted for. Now, we're going to start all the way down here in the Extra tab. Now, what this Extra tab is for is heroes that I think are really good, and you should probably try to get 1 copy of, but not necessarily good if you're trying to get multiple copies. Like, for example, Lay Radar. Do you really need more than 1 of him? Not really. His fodder isn't the greatest, and he himself, he's a defensive mythic hero, so merges on him don't really matter at all. Unless you're like a super whale, you just want him at +10 so he has better combat when he's defending. Like, that, I mean, that, I guess, but honestly, no. Like, you don't need merges on this guy. Just get your 1 copy and you're good. Same with this Desert Marissa over here. Her support is insane, right? Like, just giving Brave support in 3 columns and 3 rows, that's nutty. But you don't really need more copies than her than the first. Her fodder is okay. Like, she's got some pretty solid fodder skills, but it's nothing that you need to, like, break your back over to try to get this Marissa. I would say just get your 1 support copy and you're good to go. Also, she's a harmonic hero, so merges for her aren't quite as valuable and universally good as, say, merges on a duo hero, which we're going to take a look at some in a moment. All right, then we also have the Halloween Nagi, who I think is also a very good unit. She's one of the premier near-save options you can go for because she naturally has protection from AoEs. So a unit like, say, Emblem Sigurd with his AoE is not really going to be as detrimental when he's fighting against this Nagi. So she's a really good near-save option. She also has solid fodder. She's got, like, Dragon's Roar, I think. Hold on, why don't we double-check that before I start spouting some false info here. She either has, like, Dragon's Roar or Armored Flow. I can't remember which. Let's just double-check. Okay, so Nagi has Dragon's Roar. Okay, so I was right the first time, which, I mean, that's definitely good fodder. But the main thing you want her for is just having another far save option, particularly for near save. She has a pretty solid harmonic skill as well, which is nice, which I believe it has penalty cleansing on it, which is always a good effect to have. Okay, no, that's not... Yeah, no, that she does do that. She neutralizes penalties, she recovers 30 HP, neutralizes effective against Dragon, gives Warp Bubble, which is always a good thing to have. Attack and Res up 6 and Resonant Shield. So she has one of the better harmonic skills, absolutely. So definitely a good unit to have one copy of, but I wouldn't say her fodder overall is like anything worth breaking your back over. Like Dragon's Roar is good. Scowl, like that's kind of a moot point at this point. Because there's so many ways for units to get around Scowl now. Like, they have so much special charge prior to attacking, or they get it on their second and third attacks, like Emblem Lyn, for example, and a couple of other units. So Scowl is... I mean, it helps a little bit, but not, like, enough to really deny the enemies of specials. She does have Twin Far Save, which is solid fodder, but it's tough to say what direction they're going in with these save units at this point, because we just recently got a unit in the legendary Ira who is a hard counter to Shield Fighter. Not only does she give potent support, which is good against Shield Fighter, but then she also neutralizes Pavis and Aegis from activating. So I'm expecting more units to release that are going to have skills like that, where you don't really want to have Shield Fighter. You may actually prefer to start having Twin Far Save and Twin Near Save instead, because those are like Dragon's Roar and Armored Blaze, Armored Flow, things like that are harder to negate than actually like Pavis and Aegis. So hard to say at the moment, but I would still for the time being have her down here. Then we have the Winter Shez, who's a really strong unit, one of the better Brave attackers, and she's also one of the best Lyn Ring recipients if you want to go for that. She also has crazy support where she gives insight into her allies, but her fodder isn't really that great. She has Pulse Smog again, which... Pulse Smog is actually pretty good on her, but it's very rare that you're going to find a unit that actually wants Pulse Smog. So I don't think that's, like, particularly good fodder. And then she also has... What was it? Perfect Disarm Trap or, like, something like that in the Beast skill, which is yet another variation of Disarm Trap. We already had, like, 2 or 3 of those before. So, that's not really something worthwhile to go for fodder on. So, this unit's great to have one copy, but you don't really want more than one. Same with Lyn, unless you're like a super whale and you're actually trying to plus 10 these Emblem heroes. That's a little bit much. I don't think that's necessary to plus 10 the Emblem hero, but I guess if you wanted to, you could argue that Lyn could be up here. But that's not something I think should be a concern for most people. So we'll have Lyn in. Just get one copy and you're good, which is pretty much the case. She doesn't have crazy fodder. She's got, like, Speed Taker, but there's not really many units that want to have Speed Taker besides stuff like Lyn and maybe Ira. So, yeah, Lyn is just, like, a unit you want for her ring, and you definitely want to use, so get one copy, but that's about it. And then this duo Baby Robin here, she could arguably be in the top spots for blue. She is a duo hero, and she scores really good for Arena. She's got insane assist capabilities where she can just use, like, reposition gates if you want her to score high for Arena mode and then have her be able to pop an assist and still move again. Like, that could be a sick combo for score. But most people are probably just going to use her as a one-and-done supporter, which I think is the case. Just grab your copy of her, and then she has, like, one of the most fine-tuned kit when it comes to support, where she's doing the midterm Rally Spectrum. Well, not Rally Spectrum, but the... What is it? Hush Spectrum. She can also give Rally Spectrum off the duo skill along with Dual Strike, which is also really good. And she's also a great unit for Cancel Curb. So I would say just grab your one copy and then that's good enough. Now for these units up here, these are the ones that you're probably going to try to get like multiple copies, more than one, because they have something unique in terms of fodder, or they're a really good merge project in terms of scoring, or such, and so on and so forth. So down here in colorless, of course, we've got the duo Haythrun, who's a really insane unit if you get her up to plus 10. Going to be tremendously powerful for arena mode, for scoring, and all that stuff. And then she's as good everywhere. Like, it's really hard to argue with the Divine Nectar support. Now, it was a competition a little bit between her and also the Mythic Haythrun, but the Mythic one is a defensive Mythic hero, so those are always not going to be as good as just like a duo hero that you can give any blessing to and run in any mode and like all of that stuff. So for her versatility, I've got her over the Mythic one. Then, of course, we've got the Winter Hortensia, who has Ice Lock, which is right now the best assist for any of your staff-type units. And then she's just a really good unit on her own. She's just like a better version of the Arcane Hortensia. So that's also really good. She's also a nice unit to give the Lin Ring to, or she can just snipe from a mile away. So yeah, I do very much like this Hortensia. All right, and then we have Ninja Lucina, who is arguably the best unit in the game. I mean, with Needhogger in there and like Ira in there now, it's getting a little bit hard to say, but I still would say Lucina overall is probably the best. Her support alone is just like way too good to be on a unit with the amount of DPS potential that she's got. Also with a duo skill that lets her act again. So yeah, I've got Lin as a unit that you probably want to get multiple copies of. Her fodder's pretty good. She's got like Shadow Shift, she's got Detect, and then she's also got Curved Shot. And she's also great to get merges on as a duo hero. We've got the Attuned Bridget as well, who's a great unit for merges just off the fact that she's an attuned hero. So any skills you give to her, you can just give to whoever else. So that's already really good. And then she's just a really great offensive unit too. Then over here, we've got Needhogger, the New Year one, who is one of the craziest fodder units. She's got higher Dragon Wall, or what is it, Higher Ground, I think it's called, where you get Warp Bubble and you also get Far Save. Like, that is insane roll compression on a single passive. That's like two of the most wanted things that you would want to have on a team. Like Far Save and Warp Bubble combined into one. That's nuts, man. And then she's already still got like other good passives for Inheritance. So she's really good. And then she's really good to merge as well. She scores really high for Arena right now. One of the highest BST units. So a great unit to get multiple copies of. Duo Alir, also really good. He's got Dragon Roar fodder. He's got even Res Wave D. He's got Spiked Wall. He's also a duo hero, so good to merge up. And then Emblem Sigurd, a little bit better than Emblem Lin. Like, this is the only Emblem hero I would probably want to get multiple copies of. Because Momentum 4 is still, like, the tits. We don't really have a better B skill than Momentum 4 when it comes to your melee cavalry-type units. So that's definitely up there. Also, if you want, you could still merge him to get bonus stats on the ring. And his ring and he himself are just tremendous. And then from Red, we've got some final units here. So Attuned Hector, I guess we'll talk about him first. Another attuned hero, great for skill duplication. And you can give him stuff like Shield Fighter and Armored Blaze, Armored Flow, and so on and so forth. Like all those really nice skills you would want to duplicate. Then, of course, we've got Fomortis, who is another really good fodder unit because he's got Shield Fighter, and then he's got Briar. Was it Briar Far Save, I think he has? So he's able to, like, really maximize Shield Fighter potential. So that's great for fodder, great for merges too, because he scores in the highest possible BST bin. Then there's Legendary Ira. This one, it's hard to say, like, if you want to get merges on her. She is a legendary hero, so merging her isn't, like, a terrible idea. But at the same time, she does have really good fodder. She's got the new Brutal Tempest, I think it's called. The new Tempest skill that gives you Canto Rem and also gives you +1 movement. So that's pretty good. And then she, like, you absolutely want to get a copy of this unit. She's by far the best player phase melee unit that we've got in the game right now. I don't think any melee unit is able to tank her. Like, Fomortis, Hector, whoever, it doesn't matter. Like, she's going to just completely annihilate all of these near-save armored units. So she's really good. And then, of course, Mythic Needhogger. First of all, it's good enough to, like, the New Year Needhogger is a good unit to merge just based on her BST. The red one has the same BST, but then she's also an offensive Mythic hero. That's insane, dude. That's, like, the only units that are worthwhile to merge anyway are the offensive Mythic heroes because they raise your score for Aether Raids. So every single merge you get, it doesn't even need to be a +10 Needhogger, but like +1, +2, +3, every single merge counts. Every one of them is going to raise your score by that much. So, like, this is a unit you want to get multiple copies of. Also, her fodder is off the charts. Also, she's just really good. Also, she scores really high. So, yeah, those would be my picks, top picks for A Hero Rises 2025. So, I would say the ones that you see here in red, blue, green, and colorless, those are the ones you probably want to try to get into top 8. And then the extra ones are units you probably want everyone to get a copy of just to like give their box a massive boost. But as far as like getting multiple copies of these guys, I don't really think it's that worth it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know who you guys are going to try to vote for A Hero Rises. RIP Athos, I don't think he's actually a unit you probably want to get more of. Mainly because they made him a defense mythic hero like Lay Radar. Had they made him like a light season hero or Astra season hero, I think that would have made a little bit more sense. Because like then you could talk about, oh, he's got Frost Moon, and then also he's just like an offensive mythic hero for merges. Then maybe he would have been in this conversation. But nah, the way things stand right now, I don't really think Athos is, unfortunately, a unit we want to get in here. So that's going to wrap us up for this one, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the coverage, and I will catch y'all again on the flip side.